When we talk about remote sensing, we often hear the term spectral signature. But what exactly does it mean? And why does every material have a different spectral signature? To understand this, first remember that different materials interact with electromagnetic energy differently. When electromagnetic radiation reaches a surface, some wavelengths may be reflected strongly, while others may be absorbed more strongly. The pattern of this response across different wavelengths is what we call the spectral signature of a material. In simple terms, a spectral signature is the characteristic pattern of reflectance or emission of a material across different wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum. We can visualize this pattern using a spectral response curve. Usually, the wavelength is shown on the horizontal axis, and reflectance is shown on the vertical axis. As we move from one wavelength to another, the amount of energy reflected by the material changes. The resulting curve represents how that material responds across the spectrum. Now, why is it called a signature? Think of it like a fingerprint. A fingerprint has a characteristic pattern that can help distinguish one person from another. Similarly, the spectral response of a material can contain characteristic patterns that help distinguish it from other materials. But remember, a spectral signature is not a single value. It is a pattern across a range of wavelengths. A single spectral band gives us information from one portion of the spectrum, while a spectral signature describes how the material behaves across multiple wavelengths. Different materials can produce very different spectral response curves. There is also an important challenge called spectral mixing. A sensor pixel may contain more than one material, such as vegetation mixed with soil, or water mixed with sediment. In that case, the measured spectral response can represent a combination of the materials rather than the pure signature of a single surface. Even when two materials look similar in visible light, their responses can become very different when we observe other parts of the electromagnetic spectrum. The shape of a spectral signature can contain several important features. We may see areas of relatively high reflectance, areas of low reflectance, gradual changes, and specific absorption features where reflectance drops at particular wavelengths. These absorption features are especially important because they are related to the physical and chemical properties of the material. The position, depth, and shape of these features can provide useful information about what is causing the material to absorb particular wavelengths. Another important point is that spectral signatures are wavelength dependent. A material does not have one constant reflectance value across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Its response can change significantly from one wavelength region to another. For example, a surface may reflect strongly in one part of the spectrum, but absorb strongly in another. This is why looking at only one wavelength or one spectral band may not provide enough information to understand the material's complete spectral behavior. The spectral signature also depends on the properties of the material itself. Its chemical composition, physical structure, moisture content, surface condition, and other characteristics can influence the shape of its spectral response. And there is another important consideration. The measured spectral signature is not determined only by the material. Illumination conditions, viewing geometry, atmospheric effects, and sensor characteristics can also influence the recorded response. This means that the same material may not produce exactly the same spectral curve every time. So, in real remote sensing analysis, spectral signatures are treated as characteristic patterns rather than perfectly fixed fingerprints. Now let's connect this to remote sensing sensors. A sensor measures electromagnetic energy within specific wavelength ranges called spectral bands. When measurements from multiple bands are combined, we can observe how the material's response changes across wavelengths. The more detailed the spectral sampling, the more information we can obtain about the shape of the spectral response. This is one reason hyperspectral sensors are particularly useful for studying spectral signatures, because they measure many narrow and closely spaced spectral bands. With finer spectral sampling, subtle changes in the spectral curve and narrow absorption features can be captured more clearly. This gives hyperspectral data a major advantage when the goal is to distinguish materials based on detailed spectral behavior. So, there is an important distinction to remember. A spectral band is a specific wavelength range measured by a sensor, while a spectral signature is the characteristic response pattern of a material across multiple wavelengths. And this distinction is fundamental to remote sensing. The sensor provides measurements at selected wavelengths, and those measurements allow us to understand the spectral behavior of the material being observed. Now let's look at 3 common examples to understand how spectral signatures actually differ: vegetation, water, and soil. First, vegetation. Healthy vegetation has relatively low reflectance in the visible region, particularly in the blue and red wavelengths, because of chlorophyll absorption. But as we move toward the near-infrared region, reflectance increases sharply because of scattering within the internal structure of the leaves. This creates the characteristic red-edge transition and a strong NIR response that makes vegetation spectrally distinctive. Now look at water. Water generally has relatively low reflectance across much of the near-infrared and shortwave infrared regions, where it strongly absorbs radiation. This is why water often appears very dark in NIR and SWR imagery. However, the exact spectral response of water can change depending on factors such as depth, suspended sediments, and other substances present in the water. Finally, soil. Unlike healthy vegetation, soil usually does not show the sharp red-edge transition. Its reflectance often changes more gradually with wavelength, and the overall curve can vary considerably depending on mineral composition, moisture, organic matter, and surface condition. Different soils can therefore have different spectral signatures, even though they may look relatively similar in a normal image. So, if we put these 3 spectral curves together, we can see why spectral signatures are useful. Vegetation shows strong NIR reflectance and a distinctive red-edge transition. Water generally shows very low NIR and SWR reflectance. Soil tends to show a more gradual and variable reflectance pattern. These differences in spectral behavior allow remote sensing sensors to distinguish materials that may sometimes look similar in a normal photograph. In practical applications, these measured spectral responses can also be compared with reference measurements stored in spectral libraries, helping researchers identify or characterize materials based on their spectral behavior. So, the easiest way to remember spectral signature is this. It is the characteristic pattern of how a material interacts with electromagnetic energy across different wavelengths. In other words, wavelength tells us where we are looking in the electromagnetic spectrum, reflectance tells us how strongly the material responds, and the spectral signature is the overall pattern created by that response.